So we're currently in the middle of another phase of irrational exuberance over a new technology, which people who really don't know what they're talking about are assuring us all is either about to create a techno-utopia and or destroy the entire planet. Predictions being made by people who've obviously never been wrong and never have any financial stake in these things. Anyway, given this, I thought it might be interesting to explore a technologically related moral panic from about 5 or 6 years ago, which are fully automated businesses, because they exist in Korea. There's actually one downstairs, which we're going to go look at in a minute. But first, there's a lot of partial automation here, and really just in East Asia in general. Things like ordering kiosks in fast food places and even nicer restaurants. Because just the other day, I was in a pretty nice like gastropub term they actually use here, and I just ordered from the table using a device there. So there's a lot of that. We obviously have that in the West though too, so that's nothing really extraordinary. But what we have in Korea that I haven't really seen in other places are businesses that are 100% automated. So now we're going to go downstairs to take a look at a fully automated, advertised as having a robot barista, coffee shop. So what you're about to see is pretty much the entire interior of this. There is no kind of internal dining room. There's a tiny amount of seating out front. What you have there is a self-use photo kiosk. You take a picture of yourself, you put it on the wall. Many people have. And that's about it. You've got kind of the standard, kind of generic, jangly music you'd hear in any coffee place. And that's about it. You're looking at the whole thing. Now, the thing to realize about these places is contrary to what the utopian slash dystopian types were saying not that long ago, this has obviously not created some world where no one has a job. What you actually see these things is that they serve a specific function that I don't think is as much of an issue in the United States or even most Western countries, places in Europe, as it is in this part of the world, which is a lot of it has to do with size. East Asian cities, especially in Japan and the Republic of Korea, are very, very dense. There's just not a lot of land here. These are pretty small countries and also mostly mountainous. So you have to make use of all the land you have. These have very, very dense cities. And because of that, a lot of retail space is extremely small. A lot of the places around here that are more conventional businesses, which is most of them, which is 99% of places around here, are probably going to be about half to a third of the size of what you're used to seeing. They're tiny. So you do everything you can to save space, and businesses like this are very, very efficient in saving space. But again, there's not that many of them. There's this one like 24-hour automated coffee shop. There's also a pizza place that I've never actually been in, but it works the same way. But there's another type of automated business that I kind of want to just add this almost as a long coda. I've actually already written an article about these, which I will put in the description. But this is one of the more interesting businesses I've encountered here, and that is the Korean Selfie Studio. Now, again, I've got the whole thing written up in the article, but the idea of it is you have these places that are mostly concentrated in areas where like college-age women hang out, teenage, early 20s girls, but are kind of all throughout the cities. They appear all over the place, and they are just places where you can gain access to higher quality camera equipment than you would find in your phone. And this is literally all this is. It is just, you take pictures. They a lot of times have outfits and things like that, and you just take pictures of yourself or your friends take pictures of you. And they're pretty common. But one of the reasons I think they're common isn't necessarily because there is a huge demand for these places. I mean, you see people in them, they, especially in places that are around like college campuses, they're very busy, but it's because they're almost entirely automated. Like, I've never actually seen staff in one of these places. Everything is just done through kiosks. And because of that, there's a lot of flexibility in the size. Some of these are somewhat large, but a lot of them are just these little booths, just like the automated restaurants and coffee shops I've just mentioned. So that's a big part of it. It's one of the reasons I really, really don't think that these predictions, which again, nobody's making anymore because they didn't happen. And the second these tech types make a failed prediction, they just move on to the next one. One of the reasons I don't think that automated businesses are going to catch on in places like the United States is we don't need to use them because we have space. And that is one of the big important factors in setting these things up, is again just how tiny some of these retail spaces are.